Hello, my name is Julia Salehzadeh, and I'd like to introduce you today to the second edition of Academic Listening Strategies, a guide to understanding lectures. So I wrote this book for two reasons. I wrote it for my students and I wrote it for you instructors. For my students, I wrote it to address the gap that I saw between what students had been exposed to and what they were able to do upon exiting an ESL program and what they were expected to do upon entering a degree program. And in the ESL program, they had been exposed to 10-minute lecture segments and 20-minute TED Talks, and the TED Talks are fabulous and they're interesting and engaging, but with regard to duration and structure and complexity of argument and audience type and purpose and expected outcomes, it has been argued that TED Talks are not lecture genre. So I wanted to expose my students to longer lectures, and I wanted to give them practice with the strategies that they needed to understand those. And I wanted to give them a variety of lecture contexts, a variety of argument types in both the sciences and the humanities. And I wanted to introduce the interactive element that happens in lectures and help students also navigate that. I wanted also to give them practice with a broader range of PowerPoint slide types, slides that have a lot of text on them and they need to read them before lecture, slides that have almost no text on them and they have to record notes in some fashion, or slides with lots of graphics on them. So I wanted to give them sort of scaffolded practice where the beginning of the class is a little bit easier and moves to as close to what I could get in my classroom of what a regular university classroom might be like. The second reason I wrote this is for you, the instructor, to make your job just a little bit easier. I wanted, well, as you know, there are thousands of lectures available these days and they're free and they're high quality, but an instructor needs much more than just a lecture. Students still need, they need scaffolded practice, so they need a manageable challenge level and gradual progression from lectures that are easier in terms of length and speed and content complexity, and lectures that gradually increase in those things. I wanted to provide a framework for instructors so that they can help students know what is important to know about what lectures are like, what language is like, what strategies and skills the students should practice. I wanted to provide tasks in this to support the student learning, both in and outside the classroom, that can lead to autonomous learning. I wanted to provide support materials for the instructors, so PowerPoint slides, suggested readings, transcripts, vocabulary work for the students, and comprehension questions so that students can get a valuable feedback sense of how much they understood. I wanted to provide materials that are adaptable for different teaching contexts, such as face-to-face, flipped, online, or hybrid. I wanted to provide a strong strategy focus so that students could practice before, during, and after lecture strategies to help them develop their comprehension. Finally, a word on assessment and what I do in my class with these materials. A main focus here is on strategy development. So in order to assess that, I ask students to write a reflective journal, which I do grade, and I have them do that from the beginning of the semester to the end, where they're writing about the strategies that they're using and how effective they're finding them in the different lecture contexts. Also within the text, there are preparation tasks before the lectures and also post-listening tasks that students need to complete. And there's a variety of post-listening tasks, such as making a chart of the important information from the lecture, writing a summary, or even anticipating test questions that might come from the lecture material to help the student synthesize things. The comprehension questions I provide to give the students a sense of how much they understood of the lecture, but I don't use those for assessment. So to find out more about this book, you can go to the University of Michigan English Language Teaching site and look for academic listening strategies, or you can click on the link that is below the description of this video. So thank you for your time today. I hope you enjoy looking at the materials.